Eli Hinton back to the bottom, 6 to go.
Makes a mistake again. He missed a shift. He's going to spin to the inside turn. He's going to take the lead.
Eli Hinton just got used up there in the hairpin. He's going to pick up a win after a long winless streak in Victory Lane. And the whole field just needs to get himself slowed down, hop these curves, up and over. There's that cannon running a tad wide. Great restart here for the 2 car, but also for the 48. He crosses him over, down into turn 1, there goes the tail. Here comes the 20 alongside. The 13 car gets turned. He's going to spin in turn 2.
A week ago in Indianapolis, Indiana, Adam Cabot won race number 4 of the 2019 Virtual Racing League. Tonight, he's not here, but over 20 other drivers are to take on race number 5 here in the windy city of Chicago, Illinois. We're just east of that in Joliet, Illinois, but Chicagoland Speedway, 1.5-mile racetrack with high banks, a curved back straightaway, and low grip out there, Finian. It's going to be a nightmare for these drivers tonight on old tires especially, so you have to tame those cars and make sure that they keep them in the right direction if you want to end the race on top of the podium tonight.
They have the least amount of downforce out of the 3 national series, so they got that to work with as well. So once the tires start to wear off, they're going to be fighting some very loose conditions, and that's where we're going to see the best of the drivers shine through.
Qualifying underway here at Chicagoland, and Elliott Butler is one of the cars on track. That number 6 Chevrolet. Alec Martinez, the number 18, ended up being victorious a couple weeks ago in the Outsider Racing League and looking to repeat that success here tonight. Evan Adams in the 59 in this Ford EcoBoost Ford Mustang. He's out on course right now, currently qualified second. John Furness returned in the number 28 Haviline car. And Bailey Turner sitting in that 24 atop the pole right now. And I believe if we take a look at our point standings, Alec Martinez, we mentioned him. He's a winner in the Outsider Racing League, down to 13th in the standings. Eli Hinton has missed a couple weeks. He's all the way down in 16th. But as this scrolls on around, Finian, we have to talk about Bailey Turner and his success so far this year in this series. He's been mighty good. Question is, do you think he has enough momentum to carry himself to a victory later this season?
I think he definitely has. He's been dying to get a one in. He's been up in the front for pretty much most of the races he's been in, between both this and the Outsiders Racing League too. So he's just kind of waiting for that first win. But yeah, he's got some really good consistency. One of the only drivers other than Elliott Butler behind him in second place to finish in the top 10 for all 4 starts in VRL. So I think he's going to try to continue that streak on and also try to get the win tonight here.
Bailey Turner and Elliott Butler separated by 6 points. It's another 12 back to Eric Hutton. And then another 16 to 18 back to Reggie Ortega, who's sitting in 4th. There's your point standings update here, Finney. And Reggie Ortega jumps up to 2nd. Eric Hutton jumps up to pole. Elliott Butler in P5 at the moment, and doesn't look like he's going to improve for his 2nd lap. The tire fall off here tonight is going to be very immense, Finian, and drivers have to fight that all night. Tires and fuel every single time you come to pit road, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I imagine you want to get the best equipment on the car as fast as you can. Just due to how this is pretty old surface on this track, and also again, this tends to be very loose on the longer run. So, like you said, drivers are going to come down and get us the freshest tires they can as soon as possible.
Casey Lakatos is here tonight in the number 50. He just came through for his lap, where he's going to jump up to P6 on the board. And how about Eli Hinton in the number 13 Sim TV Mustang? He's working his way around the course right now and missed a couple weeks in a row, and hopefully back. After winning at Bristol earlier in the season, he fell quite a way down the point standings and is trying to gain back any bit of momentum he can. First lap through was a 32.087, He'll jump up to P6 and bump Lakatos down to 7th. A minute left in qualifying here for a 100-lap race in race number 5.
Yeah, also Jeff Wright, he's coming through turn 3 and 4 now. He's going to put a lap down. Another one of those guys who's been pretty fast for a newcomer to this series, and he seemed sliding loose off of 4.
Yeah, he's actually going to wipe out before he gets to the start-finish line. A big hit into the fence, but no qualifying lap for the number 5 of Jeff Wright. One driver that hasn't taken a lap yet is William Troy in the number 87. He's out on course, and also Jacob Hall in the number 43. This is a guy we have to watch out for tonight. He only runs part-time in this series here, Finian, but he is very, very fast. And we expect him to do well tonight, but he's actually going to stop just short of the start-finish line and get a run-up here.
Now he's going, but he's not going to have enough time to make it back around.
No, he's not indeed. So 14 seconds left. He's going to take a lap and not going to be able to get one done. Ben Baffert also not going to... A lot of guys didn't qualify, Finian. About half the field. There's about 20 drivers in this, 19 in this session, and only 10 have put laps in. Another driver that's in this race tonight is Andrew Telganoff in the number 3. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday to Andrew Telganoff, and hopefully things go well for him tonight.
Yeah, he's going to be starting in 13th, it seems. We got only 10 of the 19 drivers who signed up for this race have qualified. So half the field electing to qualify, half the field not. So interested in seeing why that decision was made.
So Eric Hutton's going to sit on pole in that number 88 Yeti Camaro. Then Alec Martinez on the outside pole. And we talked about Alec Martinez a lot this season in both ORL and VRL Finian. And one of the things we talked about was keeping his car underneath him. Obviously, the majority has been a struggle for him this year. And just being able to get his car into victory lane. He's been close so many times, but just overdrives it. He was victorious in ORL a little while ago. Has he crossed a barrier, Finian? Do you think that he has learned something that can mean he'll be in victory lane more this season, or do you still think he's got some growing and learning to do?
Oh, I think it's always a process as far as, gaining experience, especially at that young of an age. But I think he's definitely improved a lot more since the season began, significantly so. So I think he's starting to get there. Again, I equate him to more of that Max Verstappen, a guy with a lot of pace, but still has a lot of stuff to figure out racecraft-wise. But I still think, I think you'll definitely see, if he doesn't win here today, definitely we'll see him win at least one more time between both series this season.
Chicagoland Speedway, a 1.529-mile oval, 4 turns, of course, but that back straightaway is really not that straight at all. And every time we come here, Finian, I remind you that if you're following someone in line down the back straightaway, you have to pay attention, because especially where the safer barrier bumps out, you could run your whole right side into that fence if you're not paying attention. So that back straightaway curves away from you. Got to make sure you're on top of that. Weather conditions tonight, 127 degrees on the track. That is hot. That's going to be slick, and the tires are going to just melt underneath all that heat and pressure. 90 degrees in the air, so it's going to stay hot for the majority of the afternoon. Clear skies, so it's going to be a rough and slippery one today.
Yeah, I was going to say it's one of the hotter temperatures we've seen. I forget what the hottest one was. I think it was like 132, something like that.
134, I think. We might have actually hit 135 at Indianapolis a week ago. But field is about to roll off. Let's take a look at our starting lineup here tonight. On the front row, Eric Hutton in the number 88 Chevrolet Camaro, starting alongside Alec Martinez in the Craftsman number 18 Chevrolet Camaro. Starting in row number 2 is going to be the 2-car of Reggie Ortega alongside points leader Bailey Turner. And Bailey Turner has not won a race this season, but he has been so consistent that it's kept him at the top of the standings. Starting in position number 5 is John Furness in the number 28. Alongside, first of all, that's a gorgeous Havoline paint scheme he's got on that 28 car. Then alongside Elliott Butler, who's sitting, I believe, second in the point standings. Eli Hinton starting in 7th alongside Casey Lakatos starting in 8th place. And while the rest of the scrolls along the bottom of your screen, Mark Emerson did not take the grid, Finian. And I would have thought he would have been racing tonight, but I guess not. He's just admin duty tonight, I suppose?
Oh, yeah, no, he typically on admin duty, so he's just going to sit this one out.
Oh, maybe I thought he'd race in the past, but...
No, he hasn't made a start in the series.
Well, obviously am not paying attention, so Mark Emerson not starting the race. Jacob Hall in 11th, though. Jeff Wright in 12th. Andrew Telganoff, we mentioned him. Birthday Boy starting 13th. Chris Garrett in 57, 14th. The rest of the order is going to scroll along the bottom of your screen, but up front, the double 8 of Eric Hutton in the Yeti Camaro. Going to lead them down for 100 laps here around the Windy City racetrack. It's hot, it's slick, it's Chicago. Pace car rolls off out of turn number 4, leaving the field in the hands of Eric Hutton. Green flag flies, we're racing in Chicago.
Oh, and you can see big slip, a lot of people sliding around, just trying to get some grip. You see Eric Hutton get away. Almost saw Bailey Turner wipe out, and we saw a little bit of 3 wide for a second as they head up in 1.
Already, field getting sorted out through turns 1 and 2. Nose to tail for 4th and 5th. And oh, look at that. Eli Hinton right of the bumper of that 24 Bailey Turner and the 28 of John Furness in the inside line. That Havoline Camaro trying to drop in underneath Martinez. Couldn't quite get there. Ortega takes over 2nd place. Hutton gets away 0.2 of a second out in front. He'll lead lap number 1 here at Chicago.
Yeah, made it through lap 1 so far, so good. And you see Alec Martinez trying to defend from Furness on the from in behind him. Furness looking around for a place to pass, as well as Bailey Turner also looking for an opportunity.
Eli Hinton moves up the racetrack, but here goes Elliott Butler all the way to the outside of the 13, and the 24 throws a block on Hinton down the back straightaway, and then jumps right back up to block the advance of the 6 car. down into turn 3. The 24 car right in the white line, bouncing, sliding, but here comes Butler going the Larson line around the outside. He's going to get alongside the 13 and try to take that 6th spot away.
Yeah, he's trying to make it work out there, and so far it's looking like it's pretty decent. We'll see again at 1 and 2 if he's able to try to get around Hinton. Looks like he's kind of just side by side with him at the moment.
He's going to get a good run down the back straightaway here, and he might actually clear the 13 by the time they get down to turn 3, and he does. Well, the question is, will the 13 stick on that bottom lane? Looks like he will. He'll try to contest him, but in front of them, look at this gaggle. The 18 of Martinez under attack from John Furness and Bailey Turner. Turner trying to shoot the gap middle 3 wide out of turn 4. No place for him to go.
Yeah, he was trying to go through it to the inside on the back stretch, wasn't able to do anything, so it looks like he's just trying to follow in Furness through around Martinez, but Martinez still putting up a fight on that outside.
In the outside lane, he saw Elliott Butler use it. I think he wanted to go up there and try it, but not as much speed there for him. Turner gets really tight out of turn 2, and look behind him. That's a 3 of Telegonov, who started 13th. He's up to 8th place already, so he's moving forward. Keep an eye on him as Martinez goes high again in turn 3, but it looks like he's going backwards.
Yeah, we've seen Andrew Telegonov once he makes it. Whenever he makes a start nowadays, he's always marching up towards the front of the field. So you're gonna have to keep an eye on that 3 car as he marches through the field, because he's gonna. I imagine, honestly, he's gonna be up here fighting for the win by the end of it.
Off into turn number 1, and you see the gaggle of cars in front of him, 2nd through 7th, all in a tight battle. Martinez almost got in the fence out of turn number 2. But you got to be careful when you're running this close together at a track this slick, Finney, and it just takes one slip up to lead to disaster here. We saw this a couple weeks ago in the Host Venom Cup Series. Quite a few incidents. Drivers getting out of their space a little bit down into turns number 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And Martinez now riding the rear bumper of the 2 car of Ortega, and Furness jumps up right in front of the 2 car. And he's going to go top to bottom in turn number 1, 2 by 2 in 1 and 2.
Yeah, that outside lane really only seems to be working off of turn 2, not so much off of turn 4. Or turn 4, you want to be on the inside lane, it seems. And here's Bailey Turner. He's going to get shuffled out behind Martinez. Martinez is going to cut the nose off and dive below Reggie Ortega.
And Bailey Turner is right in the middle of this right now. If we ride on board, you can see, look at this. Down to the bottom.
Train of cars. Ooh, and Turner to the grass trying to find a way around Martinez, and Martinez is going to block him off there. And in behind them, here comes Elliott Butler slowly creeping his way up.
Racing all over the racetrack. This is why people love Chicago so much, Finney. The multi-groove action, the tire fall off. We're already about half a second off of our best times, and we're only a couple laps in. We're almost 3 wide down into turn number 3. Martinez back to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to find speed. Turner's going to try to turn underneath him.
Loose.
Whoa, and Martinez tried to keep it down on exit. Couldn't quite do it. And now we look like we're going to try 3 wide on the front straightaway here.
Yeah, Martinez was really loose off before the tire was already starting to get to him. And he's got to be very careful, because if he wipes out, he's going to take a lot of cars with him.
Eli Hinton trying the outside lane now. Look at the 24, trying to get underneath the 18. Can't quite do it. Hinton's going to get to the outside of the 24, and Elliott Butler dropped back behind the 13. Now the 24 and 13 are side by side. Maybe 1 and 2 the outside lane works. Doesn't look like it's working quite so well in turns 3 and 4 yet.
Yeah, and you see off of 4 here, you're going to see Bailey Turner. He's going to have a little bit of an advantage. Not so much that time through, but you see him all the way down on the apron just trying to make up some time on Martinez.
He went all the way to the grass. And Martinez looks like he's holding up this group just a little bit, but Reggie Ortega has not gotten away. Eric Hutton and John Furness have separated themselves from the rest of the group. Hinton all out of shape out of turn 2, and he's under attack now from Jacob Hall in the 43 and Elliott Butler on the outside in the 6.
Yeah, big fight. Hall, we were talking about moving up. Hall started in 11th. He's currently up to 8th, but already trying to make up a few spots. He's almost going to do it with Hinton.
Look at this action. There's cars all over the racetrack as they exit turn number 4.
Yeah, these guys playing with inches. Telegon now joining the fray, going to the inside. Elliott Butler, big fight here midfield. Oh, up ahead of them, Reggie Ortega loose sideways.
Oh,
off
he
the
saves
corner.
it. And middle 3 wide as everyone tries to scramble to get around him. It's going to be chaos out of turn 2 as everyone scatters. 3 wide again, and Ortega sliding backwards.
Yeah, it looks like he had some help off of Alex Martinez in turn 1.
Whoa, and
so I'm sure Ortega not going to be too happy with that.
That was close quarters racing. Okay, we're going to quickly jump back and take a look at what happened here. And you mentioned Alex Martinez in the 18. They get off into turn number 1, and oh yeah, he certainly got some help there. But a great save that he didn't, and Hinton did a great job missing him as well. But let's go back live here, and still lots of action around the 2 car. There's the 5 of Jeff Wright dropping to the inside to try to get around him out of turn number 2.
Yeah, other guys joining the fray, Chris Garrett and Casey Lakatos, they've caught up to this group, as well as Jeff Wright now trying to make a pass to the inside of Ortega.
It looks like with that chaotic moment, everyone's trying to find their own space on the racetrack. And minus a couple bobbles, looks like they have done that. Last couple laps, John Furness has actually been reeling in Eric Hutton, who's led every lap so far.
Yeah, he's been reeling him in. He's been reeling him in by 1/10 of a second every lap, so he's been really starting to catch up to him. So Hutton might have to be a little bit worried here. Although again, behind these guys, they got nothing to worry about as the top two pretty much broken away from the rest of the field.
I'm just watching this 3-car of Andrew Telganoff here, Finney, and take a look at this. Started 13th, he's up to P5 already, and he's showing no signs of slowing down. He's as quick or quicker than everyone else in front of him here, and he is coming fast. He's got to get by Jacob Hall and Bailey Turner though to get up battle the front two.
Yeah, that incident with Ortega that allowed Telganoff to pass 3 cars in turn 1. That gained him a bunch of spots. So yeah, just now trying to make time back on the 43 who passed him earlier so these guys can move up to the field.
So much off-throttle time around here, Finney. Let's take a look at the track conditions. 130 degrees. We've risen about 6 degrees since the start of the session here, so track only getting hotter. Look at Butler driving to the inside of Eli Hinton. Hinton's all out of shape in turns 3 and 4, hanging the rear end out sideways driving in turn 4, and he's going to hang on to it, but now he's got the 6 to his inside.
Yeah, Butler trying to make the pass. Remember earlier we saw these positions kind of reversed. Butler trying to work the outside, but here he is now on the inside of Hinton. Hinton trying to gain speed on the outside lane, and looks like he might be able to do so, and here comes Jeff Wright into the fray.
They're still hanging it way out. Look at Bailey Turner up in front, throwing a block on the 43 of Jacob Hall, another one of the quicker drivers on the racetrack at the moment. And Hall's going to be a tough one to beat tonight, especially if he gets track position, but behind him, we're still watching this battle with the 13, the 5, and the 6. They're just absolutely duking it out for 7th place back here. And now the 43 looks to the inside of the 24 down in turn number 1. It's only a matter of time, I think, here. Turner's slipping and sliding. Look at him hanging that car out. He's all out of control out of turn 2. Here comes Jacob Hall to the outside now.
Yeah, great crossover move from the 43, able to read him like a buck. Here it comes down the outside lane. Not sure if he's going to be able to make the move work. I think he's going to try to pinch Bailey Turner and let him get loose.
Out of turn 4, side by side for 3rd place. Turner slips up the racetrack, but it's not going to be enough to hang on to this spot as Jacob Hall is going to lead that lap for 3rd place. And he'll take that spot away. Behind him, we just saw Eli Hinton under attack from the 5, Jeff J. Wright, and Wright's going to go back to the bottom of the racetrack. He might clear him here in turns 1 and 2, and he does. He'll slide up in front of him out of turn number 2.
Yeah, Turner really starting to struggle with the tire wear here. It's really starting to get to him, and he might potentially fall back another spot behind Andrew Telganoff if he can get there.
Slipping, sliding. Look at the 13. He's just been driving this thing on the right rear tire every lap since we dropped the green flag. It's going to hurt him here, though, because he's going to really be struggling. You see him dropping that quite a few spots. He's not liking how that car is handling. He's just all out of shape. And now the 57 of Chris Garrett's all over his rear bumper.
Yeah, Garrett, he got a little bit of a push from Elliott Butler in behind him. And yeah, Hinton really starting to slip up on the tires as well.
Yeah, he's just been abusing that right rear. You've been seeing him just hang that thing out the whole time. And it's not going to be healthy for the lifespan of those tires. And look, even Garrett is doing the same thing. They're just driving on that right rear. God out. And look out of turn 4, the 13 slipping and sliding. Here comes the 57 to Garrett to the inside, and Butler has been sliding back along with the 13. They've been running right around each other since the drop of the green flag. Listen to the tires work here. All tire sliding through turns 3 and 4.
Butler very
contact!
loose. Hinton
13
looser, contact with the 57.
57 spins out of turn number 4 after contact with the 13. Caution out, lap number 19. That's one of the rare times I've actually caught a crash on camera. We're like Fox Sports at this point.
Yeah, there you see the loose conditions catching to these guys.
Yeah, that was, I actually don't know, was it 57? No, he definitely got help from the 13 here. Let's take a look.
Yeah, it was very light contact, not enough to even damage the 57 that much, but enough to send his car around.
Yeah, 13 just got all out of shape. 57 spins around. No harm, no foul here. Very minimal damage, but that's a pretty straightforward spin out here. And I know what everyone's going to want to do here in a second. They're all going to come get tires and fuel.
Yeah, I can't blame them too, especially I'm sure Turner, Butler, and Hinton were specifically happy to see that caution come out because they were really sideways on their tires.
The caution out, we've had one caution lap so far out of the 20 that we've run. We've had no lead changes. Hutton has led every single lap of this race. John Furness was catching him, though, Finian, so we'll have to keep an eye on that 28. He looks fast.
Yeah, it seems Hinton's strong in the first opening laps, but in the middle part of a run, it looks like Furness is able to reel him in, so we'll see, especially because Furness had to work through some traffic to get up to second place. We'll see now on this run if Furness is immediately able to take away the lead, or will he have to kind of wait a little bit for his tires to come in.
Pit stop's going to be underway here now. The field pulling off, and you're not going to want to even try to stay out on old tires. They're going to be really slow. I didn't really get a good look at their lap times before they came into the pit road, Finney, and I would assume they're about a second and a half off already. So
yeah, second and a half.
Yeah. Look at Furness right on the rear bumper of the 88. That's making good time on the pit lane. And then they come for their stops.
Oh, and he completely overshoots the pit stall, though.
And someone just drove right on through, and that's the 21 of Brian Chambliss. Didn't stop in his box.
Might have missed his pit stall.
Race off pit road, Hutton down a spot. Martinez going to gain a couple. Furness drops 3. Ortega jumps up 4. Talganoff loses 3 on that exchange. But we'll see what Chambliss does. Maybe it'll lead a lap here. You would think you'd just stay out of pit road if you're going to do that.
No, yeah, I'm pretty sure he just missed his stall coming in. I think he was trying to find it and just didn't realize where it was.
So he'll probably come back on down to get 4 tires and fuel. Almost a quarter of the way through this one, Finning. Only about 45 minutes of green flag racing left. It's not really a whole lot of time. So, is there a sense of urgency here? But there's also, you want to save your stuff. And actually, the 21 is staying out on the racetrack.
Huh, that's
interesting. Maybe he'll pit at the end here.
Yeah, probably. I think not really much of a sense of urgency. I think these guys, again, you have to be patient. Because we're clearly seeing the guys that abuse their tires, they're really starting to pay the price, especially towards the later part.
That was only a 20-lap run, too. That wasn't a long run by any stretch of the imagination. And the 13 just burned the heck out of his stuff. He ended up crashing.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful.
I think there can't really be too much of a sense of urgency. You obviously want to move yourself in the front, keep yourself in a good position, but you got to just keep managing your tire wear throughout the run.
David Mott Jr., the last car on the lead lap. No damage to that race car, but I'm not exactly sure what's up. So here's an interesting thing. So we've been struggling, or I've been struggling, I should be clear, with trading paints the last couple weeks, and as it goes through phases. And the 2 cars that are not showing tonight are Reggie Ortega and David Mott Jr. But here's the fun thing, is I can see that their paint scheme is loading on the hood cowl, but not on the rest of the car. Like the 41's cowl, like where at the base of the windshield is green, and the 2 cars is yellow, but the rest of the car is black. So it's loading on literally just one part of the car, and the rest of it's not loading at all. Who knows why that's happening?
Trading beans is a weird thing.
So I'm also going to clarify my 45-minute thing here. 45 minutes is an estimation. There's no time limit. There actually is a time limit, but it's well beyond what we're racing. I think it's 95 minutes. Here comes the 21 down to pit road. So the race is just 100 laps. No time limit should be in effect tonight unless they were going to pace the entire night, which is not going to happen. These guys are quite good. So we'll see how that ends up playing out here. 1 to green, so we'll be about a quarter of the way through this race when we take the green flag here, Finian. I'm taking a look at the 88 and the 43 as probably the best cars out here, but the 3 of Talganoff also one of the best cars out on track, and I think if he has a track position, he'll be one to fight with later tonight.
Well, I mean, he has a lot better track position from when he started. Again, started in
13th.
Yeah, started in 13th, all the way up now into 8th place. So, is that right?
7th place is showing for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, into 7th place for him. So, has moved up quite a bit of positions, and expecting him to move up some more here on the restart.
Coming back to the restart, let's take another quick look at our track conditions. 129, so it's been able to cool a bit, but once the cars get rolling, it will probably heat back up again, and the air temp has actually climbed a degree. And 129, that's only a couple degrees short of the hottest we've ever seen in iRacing, so it's you see that rubber on the inside line in turns 3 and 4, and it's eating tires alive. So if you get outside of that inside groove where there's no rubber, it's going to be even more abrasive and wear out your stuff even more, but there might be a speed advantage to be had there as well. Coming out of turn number 4, pace car is going to pull off and leave the field in the hands of Eric Hutton once again. Green flag flies. We're racing again here in the Windy City.
Great start for Eric Hutton, immediately getting away, but here you see Jacob Hall also with a good start now, trying to chase down the 88.
Off into turn number 1, he's going to jump right behind the 88, but there's battles behind him. Look at the 24, Bailey Turner. He's out of line on the outside of the 3 of Talganoff. They're side by side on the straightaway. Look at Hall to the inside of the leader down the back straightaway. To the inside of Eric Hutton. Off into turn 3.
Yeah, he's got a quarter panel in there, and we've seen that at the inside line is preferable coming out, going through turn 3 and 4.
Well, side by side for the lead. Out of turn 4.
Whoa.
They almost touch. Inches between them. Coming to the line. Who leads this lap? Hutton by an inch.
Yeah, Hutton was barely able to lead it, but here comes Hall now. It's going to be the inside in 1 and 2. We've seen the outside line prevail here. So let's see what Hutton can do on the outside. These guys might have quite a bit of back and forth here.
Side by side for the lead on the back straightaway here in Chicago. The 43 and the 88 just playing inches with each other down the back straightaway. Off into turn number 3 again. The 43 drives it in deep, but the 88's got the longer way around. And look at Hall just throttle up mid-corner to try to clear the 88. Can't get it done. Not quite yet.
Yeah, Hutton able to get just a decent run off the corner, but I think Hall might be able to clear him here. And indeed he is.
He does. Jacob Hall, the new leader, but Eric Hutton drives to the inside, and he actually loses some ground here.
Behind them, 3 wide for a second with Talganoff shooting through the middle.
Furness drops to the inside. Talganoff almost got hooked off the bumper of Turner, and Turner backed out of it to avoid that contact. Talganoff's been in the middle of an absolute chaotic midfield, and he's been waiting here for a while. Now Furness getting around the 88. Hutton's struggling on this restart.
Yeah, he's struggling to get up to speed. I think also just struggling to find a groove because he's constantly getting past. So Furness now trying to work his way through the 88, and then you see Reggie Ortega lining up to potentially get around him.
You see behind Alec Martinez and Andrew Talganoff. They're battling for position number 5, and Martinez up the racetrack, Talganoff on the inside lane, and then behind him you see the 5 of Wright and Turner door to door, but keep this battle for second in sight. Furness down to the inside again, and Eric Hutton does not like that outside lane. He is not going the right direction.
Yeah, I think Furness is going to start to beat him. Actually, Hutton got a really good run off the corner. These guys still side by side. And Ortega stuck in behind them trying to find a way through.
Right on board with Ortega here as he drives off into the corner. The 88, look at him throttle up mid-corner, just trying to get that thing to stick. Understeer, oversteer. Look at those tires working on the 88 down the back straightaway. And Hutton's trying to make that outside lane stick, but just not enough grip up there on the fresh tires. Now he's got Ortega looking to the inside.
Yeah, Ortega's starting to look really racy. Penty looking to the outside of Hutton there. Nope, Hutton's going to come up to defend here.
And just nose to tail. Look at these guys following each other. This would not happen in the Cup Series stuff with all that downforce they threw on those things. You cannot follow that close, but here they are in the Xfinity cars making it work. Nose to tail. Look on back through the field. There's the 6 and the 5 going at it. This is for 8th place on the track.
Yeah, right now able to gas it up inside. Butler is starting to fall back just a little bit.
Where's Eli Hinton? He's been struggling tonight in 12th place. He's kind of out of practice here. He was involved in that first collision, actually caused that first collision. And he's riding back around in 12th spot, unable to advance. But now the 18 and 3 car going at it again in turns 1 and 2. Maybe some contact there as Talganoff looks to the inside.
Got Talganoff there. Martinez on the outside trying to defend here.
3 drops down to the inside.
Yeah, Martinez going to try to get the run off the corner, but it's just not enough off of 4.
I just don't like that outside line this early in the run, Finney. I think you got to kind of bottom feed until the tires are old, and maybe then you could try the outside lane and use the momentum to help overcome the worn out tires. But on the fresh tires, you have the grip to stick on the inside. Why wouldn't you do that?
I think these guys might be trying to run out there earlier on to kind of preserve their tires just a little bit longer rather than forcing the car on the inside.
And they're still door to door.
Ooh, Hutton loose off before. He was really sideways, was able to save without any issue.
I'm just watching these guys because they're both reeling in Jacob Hall, the leader. So let's keep an eye on that battle as we continue to watch Talganoff and Martinez go at it. I think that lead's going to tighten up. It's 0.4 of a second now. It was about a half a second a few laps ago. Ooh, Talganoff kind of hip checked the 18. Didn't make contact, but certainly threw that car in his direction out of turn number 2, and they're going to drive off into 3. They've been side by side for about 5 laps now, Finney. And when do you get tired, and when does your tires start to wear out from holding an inside lane for so long? I think Talganoff's patience running thin. He pulls right up in front of the 18 out of turn 4.
Yeah, Martinez now looking to the outside, trying to get a run. Can't get it done. Looks like Talganoff's going to secure that spot for now.
Woo! Almost contact there, but the 3 has it. He'll move himself back up in position number 5, and we'll see if he can set his sights on the leaders. Speaking of the leaders, Jacob Hall is 2/10 up the road now from John Furness, but that lead has been shrinking.
Yeah, Furness has been reeling him in by a tenth a lap, pretty much what he was doing with Eric Hutton earlier in the race, so now he's pretty much reeled in Hall. Now the question is, how is he going to get around him?
Well, you have options, that's for sure, with the multiple lanes tonight. 33 laps complete. That's the 3rd mark of this race. 36.5 minutes roughly remaining in this event. John Furness just closing in on Hutton, now running about a half a lane up the racetrack. He gets a bit loose there mid-corner, though. And you got to be careful not to beat your stuff up here, Finney. You're catching him. There's no need to push now and waste your stuff. You know you're faster. Take your time. Look at Bailey Turner dropping out of line to get by Alec Martinez. He's going to go all the way to the inside lane and try to follow Telganoff on through.
Yeah, Martinez was really loose. I mean, if you want to go on board with him, he's really fighting a loose car right now.
Right on board the gyro cam off into turn number 1.
Yeah, watch his hands off of 2 last time through. He was almost dead sideways in that car.
Oh, yeah. Really sliding, but gets a pretty decent run on the back straightaway on that. I still think the outside lane in turns 1 and 2 is better. Oh, he gets turned! Off into turn 3, Martinez sliding through the grass, tries to save it. Up the racetrack he goes, and he does. A great job there to not run into anything. But he's going to lose a bunch of spots here. What happened?
I think Turner was trying to merge him behind Martinez, mistimed it, and got his left rear.
Oh, yeah, he just hooked him right there and sent him down the racetrack. But I cannot express how good of a job the 18 did there to not make that into a massive collision. That's such an... I mean, that's incredible, guys. I mean, this is a crash.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job of making sure he was able to merge up into the track at a good enough angle where he was able to recover it. Because he easily could have either hooked someone else or gotten straight into the wall.
The 5 of Jeff Wright was all sideways on the apron trying to miss it, and he did a great job. Up for the front, though, Jacob Hall leads John Furness by about a 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, Furness is caught up, but has again kind of gotten stuck in behind Hall again. Just I don't think he has enough.
Look at him try the outside lane here. He goes way up to the top of the racetrack.
Yeah, and I like that. I think he's trying to set up a run here by getting a good run off the corner and then setting it up going to the next corner. But he might have to play around just a little bit to get it to work.
Battle for 4th. Reggie Ortega, Andrew Telganoff. Telganoff continues to climb his way forward. Now they're side by side off in 1 and 2. Andrew doesn't race very much in these series, but when he does, man, is he talented.
Yeah, and I kind of wish he raced in Outsiders Racing League because he would be up there fighting week after week for wins. Because when he was before Outsiders was formed, in the previous thing for VRL, he was really fast for the races he entered there too. So, but here he is now moving, just getting past Ortega up into 4th place, potentially going to move further up.
Jeff Wright and Eli Hinton fighting for 9th. Hinton's finally got that car going the right direction, but looks like Jeff Wright has other ideas for the 13. Oh, now he drops to the inside. What's wrong? 5 car way down to the inside lane. Not sure what happened there.
I think car just loose for him? I'm not sure.
And then behind Alec Martinez trying to grab some spots back. There's Ben Baffert in the 23 right in front of him. Martinez has got a lot of work to do to get himself back to where he was. Lap 40 complete here as soon as Jacob Hall gets around to the start-finish line, and he's actually started to pull a gap on John Furness again, but I still think Furness is quicker, but the problem is you can't follow the driver directly in front of him and expect to get through him. You have to knock him out of the way, so he's got to try a different line, and then outside is not working, so here goes back to the bottom.
Yeah, again, he caught up to him and just kind of stalled out, so I'm not sure if he's just kind of waiting in behind him or maybe potentially waiting to pass him under pit stops.
You know what's interesting, Finney, is that you and I have actually driven this this combination for about 100-something lap race, and the last time we drove this, it was incredibly understeery. The setup was very pushy in the corners, and you'd end up in the fence a bunch of times. Tonight, these guys are just hanging. They're just driving it sideways off into the corner. You can watch them as they get down to the that 43's left front tire is against the white line, and his left rear tire is about a foot off. So they're hanging these things out 6 to 15 inches, depending on how far into the corner they are, just sliding them around. It's great fun to watch and great fun to drive, I imagine, as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, honestly, if you're giving me the option between a car that understeers and oversteers, I'll take the car that oversteers any day of the week.
Yeah, as long as it's predictable, and it looks like it is tonight. It's catching some drivers out off guard, but I definitely think this is a driver setup. And look at the 2-car of Reggie Ortega. He's been slipping back. Bailey Turner has caught him now for 5th.
Yeah, Turner was trying to make the pass on the inside, but he was getting really loose. I think he might have clipped the apron. That probably made it a lot worse.
So let's start thinking about pit stop situation here, Finney. We've been out here for 21 laps. We have about 57 to go, 58 to go. Do you just run this tank out, pit one more time, and call it a night?
I think I would. I don't think there's enough time to really play around with undercutting and what have you. So I think these guys might just kind of run out the tank here.
And Baffert and Alec Martinez continue to fight for 11th. I think Martinez is going to win this fight, though. Jacob Hall has stretched his lead back out, and are we surprised that Eric Hutton hasn't been able to do more from his 3rd place position? What do you think?
You kind of know, because he did fall back on the initial restart, but has been maintaining a decent gap to these guys too. Has been also kind of reeling them in as of recently, so he could just kind of be preserving his stuff, letting these guys potentially fight it out, and then he might be starting to reel it back in here.
It's about time, about midway through a run. Let's do a Sim TV sound surge. These battles continue to rage. Look at this fight, Finian, for 5th place right now. Reggie Ortega, Bailey Turner, Elliott Butler. Look at them all sliding out of turn number 2. Great fought battles and contact there between the 6 and the 2-car, pushing each other down the back straightaway.
Yeah, 6 of Butler trying to find a way to go. He wants to go in the middle, but the door hasn't quite opened up just yet. But here he is getting a run off the corner.
Whoa.
I see a car slow up ahead on the apron.
It's Dave Mott. Oh, there's Dave Mott Jr. on the apron on the back
William
straightaway, and William Troy on the front straightaway. Do these two get together? Oh, there was a crash, full-on crash here. And look at the 87 out of turn number 4. Just gets loose, lazily spins over, smashes into the fence, and there's the 41 that gets hard into him. And a horrible collision on the front straightaway. No caution, though. And the 41 just out of control through pit lane. Those cars are destroyed.
Oh, but back up to that battle for 5th. There's a new challenger that's approached Chris Garrett in the 57. He's caught up to these guys. That's a 4-way fight.
Incredible action all around the racetrack. Closing in on halfway. 50 laps complete next time through. Reggie Ortega slipping back a spot. Bailey Turner and Elliott Butler gaining a spot. Remember, the 24 and the 6 are fighting for the lead, and Turner's sliding out of turn number 2.
Yeah, he saved it, though, but lost some time. Elliott Butler is able to break away just a little bit, and Ortega's going to fall in behind Turner.
Don't look too far behind this to find Eli Hinton in the 13. 2-car is bailing. He's coming right to pit road, I think, Finian.
Yeah, looks like he's going to start pit stops.
Right at the halfway point. Here comes Alec Martinez in the 18. This is a good move for him here, Finian, to get some of his track position back. And the 21, ooh. I don't think that's going to be a legal pit road entry, Finian. It was awful close.
Oh, if anything, he also got for speeding, too. He came in really hot as well.
We'll keep an eye on that 21 car to see if there's a penalty. But for the lead, Jacob Hall, John Furness nose to tail. Did the 28 just smack the wall there, or did he get really close to it? They get awful tight. Let's take a look. Oh, no, he didn't hit it. Just got mighty close to it. And where is the 21? He's still on pit lane, and looks like he is serving a penalty, Finian. So, 21, Brian Chambliss gets a penalty.
Oh, Martinez spun out of the pits.
Oh, no. And he'll get back on the racetrack and lose all the 5 car out of control, and he saves it on the back straightaway. That was almost a crash there, too. Hold on, let's check out what happened to the 18 quickly. And just got up to speed, and it's loose on the apron, just gassed it up too much. And actually clipped the racetrack. No, just lost it.
Yeah, I can imagine that's probably just cool tires right there on the apron too, which has pretty much no rubber or anything put down on it as well. So those factors coinciding there.
Furness to the outside of the racetrack, trying to get purchase on the 43 of Jacob Paul. Neither of them coming to pit road just yet. They're going to let this go as long as they can, I think, Finney. They want to have fresh tires for the end. Reggie Ortega, he's made his final pit stop, or should be his final pit stop, I'd imagine. Robert Gaba in the 75 has also made his second stop of the night.
Yeah, I imagine these guys probably aiming for around lap 60 to go and kind of cut this in half if they can make it.
And Chambliss lost 2 laps with that penalty, so that hurts big for him. So a couple early guys coming to pit lane, no other takers yet though. Just those 3 that we initially saw.
Yeah, not too surprised because again they're gonna have to go a lot longer to the end. I'm not even sure they can actually make it to the end from here. It seems like it's a little bit long. But you see Chambliss is actually working around the leader now, unlapping himself.
Oh, well, he's got to do that all over again too. He's 2 laps down. How about Bailey Turner and Butler continuing to fight? This is a battle for not only 5th on the racetrack, but first in the point standings. Remember, Elliott Butler is 6 points behind Bailey Turner. So that means he's got to finish about 5 or 6 spots in front of him to get tied or to beat him. So we have 3 retirements so far. David Mott Jr., William Troy, and Evan Adams. All 3 from crash damage. And it looks like Jacob Hall's been able to hold off Furness, but I think if Furness had the track position, I think he'd be quicker, Finian. But so that makes this pit stop sequence incredibly important. That 28 should and needs to beat that 43 to pit lane. Even if it's only by a lap.
I was going to say, a lap might honestly be all he needs because the difference between their laps on fresh and old tires is about 2 seconds, so it could be worth a lot here.
Yeah, and actually, I'm watching at the racetrack here. I was right on board with John Furness as we drive off into turn number 3. Take a look at the color of the racetrack. It is dark black, and it is picking up rubber on that inside lane. So that means that outside lane is probably accumulating marbles, Finian. So maybe you got to keep that in mind when you go to the outside late on maybe a late restart.
Yeah, both the leaders, there's some really loose off before, so they're struggling for grip. I imagine we're going to see them probably come in the next few laps.
And they've been out there for 36 laps. And so they can make it if they can go another 2 laps. They're good to go to the end. Is that right, Matt? They just need to go a couple more laps. That's all I need to know. Hall and Furness are just going at it. This is an incredible battle for the lead. So we're closing in on lap number 60. We're well past halfway at this point. We've had 3 drivers come and pit for their second stop of the night. Bailey Turner and Elliott Butler continue to fight for 5th place, although Butler has been slowly extending that margin. But for the lead, look at Furness going back to the top of the racetrack. He's sliding sideways up there, no grip in the outside lane.
Yeah, these guys have been fighting stupidly these conditions the last 2 or 3 laps. And they've just been going at it, like you said. So I'm kind of just waiting for one of these guys to come down and to start off the pit stop sequence. And yeah, it is insane to see them fight.
They're just, I mean, the 28, excuse me, has been trying this outside lane several times the last couple laps. And it works better in 1 and 2 than it does in 3 and 4. But watch him go again here. He's going to get so yawed out sideways. Now he's going to drop to the bottom. I don't think he got enough ground there to make it worth it. But now he's going to exit lower, and look at all that ground he gains in the back straightaway on the 43. He's got a great run here. Now what he's going to not do is go to the high side again, because that seems to be where he's losing time. He's going to drop right back down. Here he goes. And he carried a lot more speed to the center of the quarter than the 43 did that time. He's going to have a much better run on the front straight.
Yeah, these guys come to the line, so they're starting lap 60, so I would pretty much say fuel window is pretty much open at this point for these guys.
Yeah, I'd say so. This is an incredible, fascinating battle. Honestly, the 28 probably could come to pit road alongside the 43 and not really lose anything, but he could gain a whole lot by pitting a lap sooner. So we'll see what he does. But if I were in the 28, I would be making a pit stop. And you mentioned pit stops fitting Eli Hinton. He's in. And Robert Gaba.
Yeah, I've just heard on the radio 6 is coming in. Furnace is in.
Furnace in, beats the 43 by a lap. That's going to be key in his success here tonight. And you mentioned Bailey Turner. Oh, Butler's in way too fast. Way too fast. And that's going to pick him up a penalty for speeding on entry.
And not only that, he just absolutely murdered the cone on entry.
And that's how you throw away a decent race, folks. Just in way too hot. And Furnace, does Furnace miss his pit box? Oh no! He can't get in his box.
Oh,
and there he goes. He's still struggling to get in it. And he can't find it. There he goes. He's finally got the right side up, but he's going to lose probably an entire lap on the leader. Jacob Hall is in pit lane, and the 28 car is still on pit road. A disaster for the 28 car, John Furnace.
Yeah, that pretty much ruined his race right there. Pretty much handed it to the 43 as of now.
And he's just instantly going to drive right around the 23 of Baffert on the pit exit cone. He needs a caution if he wants any chance to win this race. That's a disastrous moment. Eric Hutton's still out on the racetrack. So is Andrew Telganoff. But here comes the 3 car to the pit lane now. And Telganoff's in pretty hot, but he got it woed down in time. It was awful close, though.
Yeah, he should be good.
Jacob Hall in and serviced. Oh, did he speed too? His pit stop was 30 seconds long. He must have sped fit, and here comes John Furnace. It looks like Furnace is actually going to beat the 43 through this pit stop sequence. So both of them had disastrous stops, but John Furnace, with the lap earlier, he's actually come out right in front or right next to the 43. Here he comes. Furnace is going to pass Jacob Hall. What a crazy turn of events here.
Yeah, unfortunate for both these guys. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be the leaders.
No.
Who is third on that sequence? It should have been Eric Hutton. Yeah, so he should potentially cycle to be the leader. So first and second place both making mistakes. I got Hall coming into the pits. Came in at 68 miles an hour. Pit limit is 50 miles an hour here.
Wow,
so
that's awful. Eric Hutton now. Eric Hutton's got right front damage fitting. What happened to him?
Oh boy.
He's had this for a couple laps, it looks like. Where did he pick this up? Trying to find where he pancaked the wall.
He had it for a long time.
I can't even find how long ago this was.
Oh, he got it all coming off the wall in turn 2 on lap 49.
Oh, I'm not going to go back looking that far. Okay.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
So Chris Garrett is your current leader. He's also got right front damage. Jeff Wright sitting in second place, but the first driver on a second stop is Reggie Ortega. He pitted a long time ago, 14 laps ago, in fact. Andrew Telganoff is the leader of the guys that just pitted. So I think Telganoff and Bailey Turner are in the best spots of the field right now. Because they're going to catch Reggie, and very quickly, I imagine.
They might, but remember Eric Hutton, he just came out of the pit, so he's going to be just trying to chase down these guys up ahead of him. So
how hurt is that 88 car, if at all?
I don't think it's that bad.
We're about to find out. Chris Garrett continues to lead. He's out front. So is Jeff Wright in the number 5 car. Both of those guys need to come to pit road one more time. Casey Lakatos in and off pit road. And Eli Hinton also got nabbed for speeding as well. Lots of speeding penalties, Finian, and so did Robert Gaba.
I would say the police are making a bank with all the speeding penalties.
And Chicago is definitely a difficult pit road entry, but the problem is exacerbated when you take a look at the track temp. 130, very slick conditions, and you see the 57 car, the 28 and 43 unlapping themselves. But this was the original battle for the lead, and they're all the way back in what will eventually cycle out to be 5th and 6th, I believe. But now the 43 all over Furnace, and this battle is back on again, albeit not for the lead. And 28 is just mirror driving right now. Keep that 43 behind you.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all he can do right now, but up for what should potentially be the lead. Turner's gotten ahead of Telganov. And it looks like he's starting to drive up into the sunset.
Question is, when does Eric Hutton catch these guys at all?
He's been catching. He caught up to Telganov by 7/10 last lap alone, so he's starting to reel these guys in.
Yeah, so he's going to easily be back in front of the 3 and the 24, and honestly, the 2 cars, he's way up the racetrack. He's exiting turn number 2 right now, but it's only a matter of time. Those tires are going to be garbage in about 10 laps, and that's going to let everyone else catch back up. So I think, really, you mentioned the 88's probably in the best spot, but Furnace and Hall, they were quicker than the 88 on the previous run, and they're only 3 seconds back as they continue to fight. So this is going to be a close one. Look at the 43 looking to the inside of Furnace off into turn number 3 now.
Yeah, and also Chris Garrett. Oh, Jeff Wright sideways on the back straightaway in the grass.
Oh, he's in the
right
grass.
now.
Yep, he's all out of shape. And slipping, sliding, he'll gather back up. It's like the 2nd or 3rd time he's done that tonight. He's still out of control.
He's losing 3 right now. I think he really needs to come down pit road.
Well, he needs to get to pit road, but Casey Lakatos is coming up hot on the inside lane, and he's going to have to bail on that pit stop idea. Chris Garrett, he's in and off of pit road, and Jeff Wright is just struggling.
I was going to say, Jeff Wright has also inherited the lead. But at the rate he's going, I don't think it's going to last for too long because he is struggling with that car.
Eric Hutton is gone and past Bailey Turner already. Jacob Hall has gotten around John Furnace. And Reggie Ortega is only about 5 seconds up the road from that 88 of Hutton, and Hutton is coming and coming fast. 2 seconds a lap quicker almost. I don't think the Furnace and Hall battle's over just yet, though.
Well, I imagine it's not over yet, but kind of amazing that these guys still found each other on the track after they had 2 separate
Two completely
incidents.
different separate incidents.
Yeah.
It was quite convenient that the 28 got held up for exactly the same amount of time that the 43 did.
Well, that's a weird choice of word. I wouldn't really say it was convenient.
Okay, 30 laps to go here. Jeff Wright leads by 8 seconds over Reggie Ortega. Now, I think Jeff Wright's just banking on a caution because he's made his bed. Now he's got to lie in it here. Reggie Ortega's on the back straightaway all by himself. Here's a look at where the 2 car is. And then 3rd place, Eric Hutton, entering turn 3 right now, and Bailey Turner, 7/10 behind him. And then Andrew Telganov another half a second. And here comes Jacob Hall up fast, and he's one of the quickest cars on the racetrack right now. But Eric Hutton was actually quicker last time through. The drivers whose races have gone south, Alec Martinez, all the way back in 14th, 1 lap down. Did he get a pit road speeding penalty as well?
Yeah, I believe he did.
Yeah, looks like it. He actually came down and served a pass-through, it looks like. I think that's probably 6 or 7 cars that had penalties on that last pit stop sequence.
Oh, and actually Martinez looks like he's peeling off again.
Now, he pancaked the right side of that car, and he's just really struggling at this point. And look at Hall and Furnace. They are just not letting each other go at this point. And they're running some of the quickest laps on the racetrack. The only drivers that is quicker than them right now is Eric Hutton. They're making quite a bit of time, but they're just messing with each other.
Yeah, I was going to say that battle is going to be effectively for 4th place since Jeff Wright and Reggie Ortega still need to make, I still believe still may make one more pit stop. And actually, speaking of which, here comes Wright down on pit road.
Riding on board of Andrew Telganov, 13th to 4th. It's been a good night so far. Eric Hutton assumes the lead. Reggie Ortega, and actually, he just got by Reggie Ortega, so that 5 or 6 second gap is now gone. And Ortega is going to have to do something about it here. I don't think he's going to run to the end on this set of tires, or if he does, he'll be a long way back.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a no-win situation for him. He's going to drop either a lot of positions on the track or a lot of positions from just pitting. So yeah, I think he probably needs to pick one or the other. And actually, he just comes down on pit road, I think, after being passed by the leader.
There's a look at all the cars on the racetrack at the moment. And the leader is the 88 down in the bottom right-hand corner. And the 28 and 43 just still dogging each other here.
Wow.
This is about as evenly matched as I've ever seen a pair of race car drivers. And
yeah, these guys are stupidly close on speed. Hall actually got really loose out of 2, was able to collect it.
Ortega's down in
been,
pit lane again. I think he's making a 2-stop or a 3-stop strategy out of this race.
Yeah, well, once he got past it, I think he just decided might as well come down and get some tires, because I think he knew he was going to drop a lot of spots from the guys behind him. Might as well get some 4 fresh tires.
And Hall and Furnace trading spots again. Furnace is going to drive off into turn number 1. He should be able to clear the 43, but the 43 is going to get a much better run on the outside and will actually probably drive right back around the 28.
Yeah, speaking of going right back around, Telganov's just gotten past Bailey Turner. They're fighting for second. Ooh, Turner's going to throw it up the inside in 3. Telganov's going to close the door.
Eli Hinton and Casey Lakatos, they're fighting back here for 7th place. Battles all over the racetrack. Whoa, close quarters out of turn number 2. The Lakatos holding the 13 down on the inside, and Hinton having none of it. And there's Butler trying to recover from his pit stop speeding penalty to the inside of the 50. So now that the 2 cars made a 3rd stop here, Finian, kind of throws people on a different strategy. There's still a long way to go in this race. Well, I say a long way to go. It's only about 13 minutes worth of racing, but that's kind of a long way on these tires. I think Reggie will actually make up kind of a lot of ground doing what he's doing right now. So we'll see how far up the track he gets. He's not going to win the race doing that strategy, but certainly wouldn't hurt. He was going to go a lot farther back sticking with what he had already done.
Yeah, so again, we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on him, see where he ends up, and see how many positions he's able to make up with the strategy.
Lakatos and Hinton continue to fight for 7th on the racetrack. And Lakatos will take that spot.
Very loose on the inside.
Hall and Furnace going back at it once again. See, that's a 75 of Robert Gaba. He's actually the first driver who's made 3 pit stops. If we take a look at our lap since pit, you'll see that Gaba pitted 17 laps ago, which is equal to a lot of drivers around him. But the pit stop sequence is all over the place, Finian. Chris Garrett is actually in a pretty good spot. Other than the fact that he's 13 seconds back from the leader, he's actually pitted about 6 to 10 laps later than a lot of the drivers in front of him.
Yeah, I think he just made up a lot of position again, just due to the sheer number of pit stop mistakes drivers have made tonight. I think honestly, really, if you were able to get a clean pit stop, you had made at least 5 positions up from where you were coming in.
Alec Martinez has pulled that race car off the racetrack. I think his night is over. And another night ended, and that started going downhill. Wasn't his fault tonight. Just got hooked off the bump for the 24, but everything after that just kind of cascaded and snowballed into another DNF for the 18. Hinton and Butler going at it now for 8th place. And Hinton slips.
Yeah, big wiggle out of his car.
Eric Hutton off into turn number 3, coming to 20 laps to go.
Oh boy, you should look at the 43 right now. He's being and 28.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Jeff Wright actually just took them 3 wide on the bottom, going by them on fresher tires.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do, but Hall and Furnace, this is probably the closest battle I've seen on SimTV in a long time. For this long, they've raced the entire race next to each other. This is a battle of epic proportions, and they're both inside the top 5. Furnace drives them hard into turn number 1. And he's going to try to get to the rear bumper with the 43 in the back straightaway. Not going to have a big enough run, but these guys are actually tracking down Bailey Turner, and I imagine they're going to catch him, and if they finish 3rd and 4th, that would be a very impressive achievement tonight. Especially considering their pit stop issues.
Yeah, it'll be a decent recovery, although I'm sure both these guys are going to be kicking themselves because they easily could have, either one of them could have had the win had one of them not made pit stop mistakes, but both of them doing so has pretty much given this into the hands of Eric Hutton.
A couple more drivers doing the 3-stop strategy. See Reggie Ortega driving around Jacob Paul right now. It's not for position. Ortega is 1 lap down in 11th place, but he can catch Jeff Wright, who's just up the road from him, and get himself back inside the top 10. And then from that point on, he's got to hope other people make a pit stop. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see how it pans out here. Eric Hutton has a 2.7 second lead over Andrew Telganoff. That lead is closing. Telganoff is a touch quicker, and he only has 1 lap. Actually, has just 1 lap older tires than Eric Hutton. But it looks like Hutton might have burned his stuff off some more, so keep an eye on the 3 car here.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and I'm curious if he has enough time to reel back in Hutton, so again, I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. Might be kind of close between these two, though.
Furnace and Hall still fighting. This is when we need side-by-side to keep a camera on them for the entire rest of the race, because I don't want to pull away from these guys, how hard they're fighting. And clean, they haven't laid a bumper on each other the entire night. Incredible, respectful action out here in the Virtual Racing League, round number 5 at Chicago. 17 laps to go. Eric Hutton has led Pretty good number of laps. Whoop.
Teleoff just made a really hard dive below the 41.
Oh, let's go back and take a look at that. I missed that. Whoa, yeah. Yes, he did. He just took a hard left and got the job done. But he is starting to lose ground back from Eric Hutton. The gap is now 2.8 seconds to the leader. And Hall's progress on Bailey Turner is stalled a little bit. It's 1.7 between third and fourth. Coming to 15 laps to go now, and the time is running out. About 8.5 minutes of racing remaining. Hutton is driving the wheels off that car, but so is Talganoff. The problem is Talganoff, his tires are going to give up sooner. There's Reggie Ortega, who's trying to unlap himself, but he's got a lot of work left to do. I think it's time for about one more SimTV Sound Surge in the closing laps here at Chicagoland. Returning back here to Chicagoland Speedway, 12 laps to go. Eric Hutton leads by 2.8 seconds over Andrew Talganoff. Bailey Turner, Jacob Hall, John Furness round out the rest of your top five. Then it's Chris Garrett, Casey Lakatos. Ooh, some smoke out of turn number 4, just a slide there. Chris Garrett, Casey Lakatos, Elliott Butler, Eli Hinton, and Jeff J. Wright running out the rest of your top 10. A 3-stop strategy for 11th on back does not seem to be working here, Finney, and I think they are in trouble.
Yeah, pretty much so. Ortega's just not getting by leader Eric Hutton, so he unlaps himself. But yeah, I don't think he's not really going to make up much time on anyone else up ahead of him.
We're about to watch a really fun battle for third, though. Bailey Turner has been run down by Jacob Paul and John Furness, coming to 10 to go. The 24 slipping and sliding. I think the 43 and 28 have much fresher tires. They should make pretty quick work of this one.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think so. I'm curious on how much of a fight Turner's going to put up, because he's struggling to hold into that car at the moment.
And what does the 28 of Furness do? He sees this opportunity to put the 43 offline. The 24 is going to stay to the bottom and give the 43 the outside. Whoa! Tight quarters out of turn 2. Now the 24 is kind of representing a gap between the 43 and 28. 10 laps to go, fighting for fourth. Make it third. Cottis and Hinton continue to fight for 8th place behind him, but we're still watching that battle for 4th place. Bailey Turner on the outside. John Furness, they make contact. Turner held him down at a turn number 2 a little bit, but now the 28 is going to get that spot and take it away.
Yeah, this is Turner kind of just trying to hold on to what he has, but yeah, I think might not, really got a piece of the apron there and send him up the hill. He's really struggling.
There's another look at the contact at a turn number 2. Oh, they actually didn't make contact. It was just really close, is all that was. Other battles on the racetrack to talk about. Everyone's kind of found their own space with the exception of the 43 and 28 who've been right next to each other ever since lap like 30 or so.
Yeah, pretty much so. Oh, Casey caught us in the wall on turn 1.
Oh, big time. Yeah, he hit it hard. Knocked the right front out of it. And... oh, just hit it on entry. It's so easy to do that, Finian. Just get it a little bit too far out of the groove. He hit it pretty good. For third place, Hall and Furness. This is a fight for the podium spot here. And Hall's stuck behind the 75 of Robert Gaba, who's actually probably got fresher tires than they do.
Yeah, Gaba's starting to kind of drive away from them, but Furness, as you said, reeling Hall back in. I'm kind of curious if you'll be able to get up there. It looks like, again, with the tires the way they are now, it's going to be kind of hard to gain back on someone.
Eric Hutton's lead has fallen down to 2 seconds, Finian. It's as close as Telganoff has been, but it's not going to be enough for Telganoff unless he really starts eating into chunks and the 88 makes a mistake. Just not enough time left in this race. Lakatos and Hinton continue to battle for 8th place. Hinton trying to wrench that spot away. Can't do anything about it, though. We're coming up on 5 laps to go. The battle for third, the most intense on the racetrack. Jacob Hall and John Furness. They've been nose to tail the entire race for a short time. Furness was able to get around the 43, and then the 43 took it back, and Furness has not been able to re-clear the 43 of Hall. He's been alongside him, but not enough momentum to carry that pass for position.
Yeah, Hinton now on the inside of Lakatos. This battle's starting to heat back up. Well, Lakatos loose off the corner. He's going to dive down low. Hinton now trying to get around the outside.
5 laps to go for Eric Hutton. He's got a 2-second lead over Telganoff. The battle for 8th place with Hinton and Lakatos looks like it's settled for now. Oh, Lakatos sliding out of turn 2. He collects it, but that was almost a crash there. These guys have been doing a spectacular job. We've had so many incidents tonight that probably should have been cautions and crashes. But they were avoided, especially the 18 of Alec Martinez. That incident was a crash that just never happened, and it was an impressive job by Martinez to keep it out of the fence. But, of course, later in the evening, he found the wall and is now 16th, 24 laps down. Will take another big points hit tonight. Eric Hutton's also found the wall, Finian, but it hasn't hurt him. He's been quick all night. His lead has shrunk down to 1.8, but I think Andrew Telganoff needs a bit more than 3 laps to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, he's in the fence.
Hard on the wall, yeah.
Oh, big crash for the 3 car, but he'll keep it straight, but that right front is going to be destroyed. That's just trying to get a bit too much out of it.
Yeah, it's effectively going to end his run at the 88.
Well, if it hurt his suspension, he's got the 43 and 28 breathing down on his neck behind him, so it's not completely over yet unless he makes sure he's got his act together. Furness going way up the racetrack to find speed, and Bailey Turner has not left this picture either. 2 laps to go for the leader, Eric Hutton. And we know Eric Hutton's good. He's talented in everything he climbs into, but tonight, a rash of interesting pit stop sequences is really what led the 43 and the 28 to fall down the running order. They were perhaps the quickest cars tonight. Hutton was good, but not the best, I don't think. He was better in the early portion of the race, but not in the late portions. But he's been just good enough. He'll collect the white flag. He'll go 1.5 more miles to take the checkered flag here. And Telganoff enters the race only every once in a while, but he brings his talent and his charisma and his incredible character here every single Friday and Saturday night. He's a great guy to talk to. It is his birthday, so we want to wish him a happy birthday. And I know we would have liked to celebrate in victory lane, but a second's going to be just good enough. Probably put a smile on his face. But out of turn number 4, Eric Hutton, we mentioned it. Probably not the fastest car tonight, but he was the best when it needed to happen on pit road. He'll come out of turn 4. He'll take the checkered flag. Eric Hutton wins at Chicagoland.
Yeah, again, great win for him. Was one of the strongest cars all day.
To the line, Telganoff just beat Jacob Hall. And the 43 comes home in 3rd. John Furness 4th. Bailey Turner gets a top 5. Chris Garrett 6th. Butler 7th. Eli Hinton 8th. And Lakatos sliding out of turn 4. And he'll get 9th as long as he gets there before Jeff Wright, who's coming out of turn 4 right now. Where's the 50? He's spinning to the line. Coming to the checkers. If 50 gets there, he'll finish. And Wright and Ortega across the line. Wright will take that spot. Ortega finishes just outside the top 10. in 11th place, and that is your results on the evening. What a drive by Eric Hutton. Again, he wasn't the fastest on the racetrack, but he was the best in the pits tonight, and that's how he got this one.
Yeah, I was going to say, he was, again, if he wasn't the fastest, he was always hanging in there just outside behind Hall and Furnace, and then once those guys made a mistake, it was pretty much easy for him to just pick up the spots and run away with it.
And what a drive by everyone tonight, Finney. The first half of that race was spectacular to watch. Cars on top of each other, side by side, 3 wide up the middle, and only we only have 1 caution to speak.
Yep, only one
One caution for 4 laps, 8 lead changes. An incredible job here after 100 laps of racing at Chicago in track conditions that are over 130 degrees. So great job by everybody tonight. But Eric Hutton gets to celebrate in victory lane. Here's a look at your results on the night. Hutton, Talgonoff, Hall, Furnace, Turner, your top 5 as we mentioned. But the gaps in the order here don't really show how close of a race it really was, especially amongst those top 5 or so.
Yeah, they really went at each other, especially after the last set of pit stops. There was a lot of changing with the guys on different strategies with their tires and just going through and passing each other, falling back. So yeah, a lot of action throughout the field tonight. Pretty good, pretty great race to watch.
Eric Hutton returns to victory lane in that Yeti Camaro. And Talgonoff, on his birthday, 2nd place for the driver of the number 3 car. I'm sure he'll be ecstatic to talk about that, although I'm sure he wanted just a little bit more. Had he had a caution and maybe some fresh tires, I'm sure he could have put it to the 88. His best lap was only about a 10th off of the 88 of Hutton. You see Evan Adams, William Troy, Alec Martinez, and David Mott Jr. All DNF'd this race after crash damage to those cars. So that's your official, unofficial results. We're going to jump to break real quick. We'll grab your winner and talk to a couple other drivers in a second. We'll be right back. Welcome back live here to SimTV, here with 5th place finisher Bailey Turner driving the number 24 Camaro tonight. Bailey, I know you wanted a bit more. You were running quite well, and then the tires just didn't last. Ended up finishing P5, but 5th all around, a great night for you. A top 5 finish and extending your points lead over Elliott Butler's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it was an interesting race to say the least. The setup was a little iffy, and it made it for good racing, I guess. Tires fall off really bad, and honestly, after I fell back in that second run, I didn't think I'd even get back up to where I was, and then I guess everybody had trouble on pit road, and then I was just doing my best to try to hold off Jacob and those guys, but they were just so much faster, and I killed my tires, so at that point, I was just hanging on.
Talk to me about multiple lines tonight. I saw a lot of drivers trying the outside in turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It seemed like it was working better in 1 and 2 than the other end of the racetrack. Was that what it felt like down to you guys?
Yeah, I just pretty much decided to run the Harvick line the entire race. I felt comfortable down there, but if somebody got to your outside, it was really hard to either hold off or try to pass them because they got such a good run off the corner. I just never practiced in the high lane and before the race, so I didn't feel comfortable up there. I wasn't gonna test it, so I'm just happy where I finished. Like you said, keep that points lead and try to go on to next week and get a win.
All right, Bailey Turner, 5th tonight, extends his points lead. Thanks for talking to us, Bailey. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Next on the list is going to be the 43 of Jacob Hall, and a part-time entry in this series, and put on a great show tonight, Jacob. I know you're disappointed after leading a big chunk of that race. Pit stop issue relegated you and John Furness down to 3rd and 4th tonight, but still a great result for you. But regretting that pit road entry a bit, or are you pretty happy with how things turned out?
Well, I'm happy. I was really surprised that I finished getting that speeding penalty on pit road, but I thought that I took a nice and easy pit road entry, but apparently I didn't. Tried the brake really easy, and then at the last second I realized I was going to speed, and there's just no time for me to slow down at the last second. It happens, though.
Talk to me about that battle with John Furness. You guys fought from about lap 25 literally to the end of the race, and he actually had a completely different penalty. Actually, it wasn't even a penalty. He just couldn't get into his pit box. Took him 4 or 5 tries. Completely unrelated penalties. You guys just ended up next to each other the entire night. Walk us through that battle. It was awesome to watch.
Yeah, he was really fast. I was really surprised that I didn't expect him to be that fast, and I didn't. On pit road, I thought that he got a speed penalty too, because we both came out at pretty much the exact same time. I thought he got speeding too. I think half the field got speeding on pit road through that race, and he was really fun to battle with. And about 20 laps to go in the race, I looked down at my throttle on the straightaway. I wasn't even full throttle. My pedals were messed up against they was pushed up against the plate on my disc, and that was probably slowing me down about half a tenth a lap or something like that. But he was really fun to race with. He races clean, and it was a good battle. Just wish that could have been for the win.
All right, well, Jacob Hall finishes 3rd tonight. Thanks for talking to us, and congrats on the P3. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Good broadcast.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And next we're going to talk to 2nd place, Andrew Telganoff. Andrew, happy birthday, by the way. And 2nd, you finished 2nd. So are you happy with that, or would the birthday boy want a bit more?
I'm happy for Eric. He definitely earned it. He deserved it. I had nothing to say about that. I don't know. It's nice to finish 2nd. Of course, you want to win, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. But other than that, it was a struggle most of the race. But I don't know, I found it pretty sad that I let Eric out to a 3-second lead, and I just couldn't catch him. There was literally no strategy with the set. The setup was it was trash, but everybody had to run it. It's not just me out there. So, but again, yeah, 2nd place, we'll take it. Yeah, I got nothing else to say, man. It was pretty challenging. My hands are sore. My wheel is so soaked from my sweat. So, it was a hell of a handful. But other than that, yeah, good job. Congrats to Eric, and it was fun racing out there with Bailey without making any contact. We usually seem to find each other at some point, but other than that, we'll take it.
A solid run for the part-timer, Andrew Telganoff. Thanks for talking to us, and we'll see you later. Andrew, have a good night. Now, I guess we'll talk to race winner Eric Hutton, driving the number 88 Yeti Camaro. Eric, a job well done tonight. perhaps not the quickest car to the racetrack for the majority of the race, but you beat them on pit road, or they beat themselves rather, but still the most consistent on the evening. Walk us through your night.
Yeah, it was a solid run. I thought I had something for him speed wise, but in that second run, I just drove the tires off, I guess. And I came down pit road. Right front was 51%, right rear is 52%, and I felt like I took a way too easy entry on the pit road, but I barely made it. So that's probably why they had problems on pit road. But I'll take advantage of that. It's a pretty good race and a good win.
How line sensitive was it tonight in terms of searching around the racetrack? Did it seem to beat your tires up more on the high side? Was it quicker up there? What did you find in the multiple groups here tonight? Because we saw drivers searching around all evening, but we couldn't really decide which one was conclusively the quickest.
Yeah, I feel like the bottom was the fastest. I tried moving up 1 and 2, there's a lap or two. It just felt like you were pushing the right front too hard, and you didn't make up enough speed. I don't think you made up speed at all. And 3 and 4, if you missed the bottom of 3 and 4, it really screwed up your 4 entry because you just come up on the wall way too fast. So I think the bottom was fastest and where most guys felt most comfortable.
All right, Eric. Well, congratulations on a victory. It was fun to watch you race out there, and we'll see you again. Hope to see you in Victory Lane again soon.
I will see you. Thanks.
We tried to reach John Furness for comment, finishing 4th tonight. Unable to get a hold of him at the end of the race here, Finney. But what a race we saw tonight. I know the last 30 laps or so were a little bit calmer, but the first half was absolutely crazy. We saw 3 and almost 4 wide action, and just drivers nose to tail for dozens and dozens of laps. And then, of course, that incredible battle between Jacob Paul and John Furness. What a race. That was probably the best race this season tonight, in my opinion.
Yeah, really great race, really great showing from these guys, and we saw a lot of the talent show for a lot of these drivers hanging on to as loose as the car. Half the time they're just drifting through the corners there that sideways. But yeah, definitely great effort. Really showed the talent off that this series has got, and hopefully best of luck to a lot of these drivers going to next week.
And tomorrow night, the Outsider Racing League, made up the majority of the same drivers. They are going to be racing at Richmond Raceway tomorrow night, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so be there for that. And then Sunday and Monday, we're off for the Easter holiday. Tuesday, we'll be back with Fuel Cup Series action from Iowa, running out the regular season finale. Wednesday is Spec MX5 Sim Racing Challenge from Winding Road Magazine. You'll see that on Winding Road Magazine's channel on Wednesday night at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursday, Scars Ferrari Challenge. And then Friday, we're back here with Virtual Racing League 1 week from today. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.